Opinions expressed by the host and guest on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
Let's get ready to rumble! Y'all ready for this?
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Time with Blind United. Of course, I'm Ed, and I got my brother Pedro in here with me today. Good morning, Pedro.
Good morning, Ed. Good morning, everybody. Just out here. I'm back for today. Hope everything's been great. I've been listening to the great conversations that we're having at Coffee Time.
I'll do what we can do, like I said, we're just trying to be consistent about it and share as much information we can. Sometimes it goes a little sideways, and sometimes we put out some really good stuff. So, but anyway, let me jump in. We got one interest group for today, and that would be Let's Talk Spanish with Mr. Jesus Bautista, and that'll be tonight at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. So if you'd like to learn a little bit of conversational Spanish, come on out and hang out with Mr. Bautista. He's an ex-educator, so he knows what he's doing when it comes to teaching anyway. So, good class. So, again, join us tonight at 5:30 p.m. And let's see if you can pick up a few phrases, sentences or whatever, and go from there, So, but on that note.
Come learn a little bit of hola. I already handled that, Ed. Come learn conversational, how to maybe order, how to count a little bit, how to say dinero, dólares, stuff like that. And remember, folks, these classes are provided free. So if you would like to sign up and be included, that's info@blindunited.org. You could get in contact with us, and you will start receiving those notifications, guys, in your inbox.
So Brittany popped in here with us. Good morning, Britt. Well, it says she's here. There she is.
Oh, there she is. Hey, Britt.
Hey.
Thought maybe we taking a day off today.
I never take a day off from Blind United. I have no life. Blind United is my life.
It's your story. Tell it any way you want to, baby. So, but anyway, we have labeled today as Conspiracy Theory Thursday. So, Brother Pedro has got a few things lined up for us, and I'm anxious to get into it and see what we got. Somewhere down the road, we'll stop, take a break, play some commercials, and then I'm quite sure he's got a few other ones we can get into. So, on that note, take it away, Pedro. Do your thing, my brother.
All right, yeah. So, welcome, guys. So, I have several different clips, and we're gonna start off with one, and then we're gonna conversate, move on to the next one, and so on and so on. and these are conspiracies that have backing that came true or may be true. They have so they have a couple of facts and they're going off of facts and paperwork. So let's jump into it. And one of the first ones is is the government trying to beam messages into your brain? Let's check it out.
Beaming messages. If we told you that the US government had looked at beaming messages directly into our brains, you'd probably be concerned about us. However, this is a real thing, weirdly. Uncovered due to the Freedom of Information Act, the report known as the Bioeffects of Selected Non-Lethal Weapons became public knowledge. Within, the details of various technologies the government had been working on were disclosed, including the concept of microwave hearing. The information details a frequency that could be produced akin to a microwave firearm that could direct discrete messages at a person, such as a hostage. Frighteningly, the report hypothesized the tech could be used to make someone think they have voices in their head.
Join the Navy.
They're recruiting people with subliminal messages.
Yep. And that's one, folks. We could get into that.
Sound like a Jedi mind trick to me, but
Well, there were some reports. There was in a consulate, I think over there, I forgot what country, some American government officials were reporting headaches, nausea, and in a building, in a government building, and I forgot the country, but they started pulling out. I seen the reports on the news. Also, there is these new sound weapons, to disperse the crowd now. They got a weapon that gives you light burning on top of your skin, and it's like a microwave, and it's to control crowds. They have one that could stop you on your tracks too, and I've been reading articles about these type of devices, and they do have paperwork on them trying to get messages into people's heads and stuff like that. I don't know, guys. What you think? I think you never know. It's a lot of crazy people out there sometimes. I don't know.
well, I mean, again, I've heard, the ones like you said where they're using sounds and stuff like that for crowd control. I mean, they're even used them like on over there where you got all the pirates coming out, and they're using sound to disperse them ships and disorient them when they're trying to board the container ships or whatever. So I mean, I get that, and I hear that microwave terminology used. I mean, it creates a sound that's so high pitched that they just can't handle it, and they got to reach and grab their ears and try to cover them or whatever, and that makes them fall off the ropes and fall back into the water or whatever, right? So
yeah, it's like they took that the black chalkboard and the nails, and then scratching nails on it. Remember that?
yeah.
They took that and turned it up to 100%, guys. So, any thoughts on that, Britt?
I mean, that's just basically what Ed said. That's crazy. And I have seen the news things where the people, going to a consulate. I want to say it was in Cuba, but I'm not really sure where they had like the ringing in their ears or whatever from the microwave,
Yes, somewhere, right? You remember that on the news? I remember that. I was like,
Mhm.
and feeling them, making them feel nauseous, headaches, being sick. They were sick, you know what I mean? And from what I've been reading in these science magazines and stuff like that, they have that technology. And then let's say certain departments might have 10 years ahead of us, 5 years, whatever it may be. They might have some weapons we don't know, and I like to call them devices because they are weapons, but they could be used for better things than just crowd control, offensively. Using them offensively, we probably make them work in a better way. But yeah, it's a little crazy.
A little bit. I mean, like ringing in the ears. I mean, okay, I'm okay, but at the same time, I mean, that's. I'm being honest. I got ringing in my ears, but mine is from head trauma when I had my accident. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've heard many people say, if they took a severe blow to the head or whatever, mild concussion or whatever the case might be, that they develop, a ringing or humming, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in their ears, So,
Mm-hmm.
and then, I mean, we talked about this before already. Anyway, I mean, you already got people out there talking about they hear voices, so
Yeah,
you
but
know,
when it comes to government and governments, I think they do little shifty stuff like that. Some I remember, I think overseas, I don't know if it was London or England over there. Remember a government official got sick for touching a knob, and his daughter also, and they were hospitalized, and they think it was the Kremlin that put some type of bio weapon on their on their property or wherever he was. I remember a story like that. So they be secret wars or whatever you want to call them. They be back and forth the government. So I could see them trying to create a weapon like that to get sound waves into your brain, and we kind of do it with uh, bone condensing headphones. We already do that. We do have that on the market already. Let's say that turned up 100 to 1,000%. You could get it into somebody's head. I believe so.
please stay out of my head. I already got enough shit going on up in there, so.
All right, all
uh,
right, all right. That was funny.
I mean, I got a lifetime going on up in there.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't need nobody adding extra to it, so I'm good.
All right, moving on. All right, on the next one we have CIA drugging citizens, guys. Let's take a listen.
The CIA drugged citizens without their knowledge. Johns in the sky with diamonds? As part of a larger program on mind control in the 1950s and 60s, the CIA set their sights on an unlikely population to test the effects of LSD, clients of sex workers.
The CIA wanted to understand more about brainwashing. It had money and it was ready to fund experiments.
By paying ladies of the night to lure in unsuspecting men, the agency was able to study how the substance could affect people who didn't know they'd taken it. More specifically, whether they were likely to give up compromising information.
Hey, Sugar, you looking for a date?
As the sex workers drugged their patrons, CIA consultant George White would analyze their behavior from behind a one-way mirror.
What is the extent of these brainwashing experiments? How did the CIA become involved in such far-reaching and disturbing research?
Of all the shady CIA experiments, this one quite possibly has the wildest code name, and that's saying a lot: Operation Midnight Climax.
Okay, guys, Operation Midnight Climax.
That's
Uh,
wild.
I mean, I think number one dude was a pervert. He just like watch people have sex. The guy that called himself doing the study, right?
Yeah,
Sitting there behind a mirror watching a working girl take her client through the paces, whatever. They've used drugs forever to try to get people to reveal information and stuff like that. So I mean,
mhm.
if you already got what is that sodium pentothal, whatever it is, I don't know whatever the true serum drug is.
Yes, yes, they experimented with that. They were trying to do a concoction and make a true serum. So they've been experimenting with that. This Operation Climax, they will set up these honey pots, and the girls will put LSD, a lot of it, in their drinks. And most of the time, they didn't even got to what they were trying to do, the Johns. The thing is, they wanted to see if they were suggestive, are they able to alter their consciousness their subconsciousness. So when they're back to normal, they have some type of control over them. They wanted to see how if they could break their minds down and reorder their minds in the way they wanted to. What was the whole thing of this project and other projects like the other projects that they actually went on and did. Remember, folks, this is under our taxpayer money. They're doing this on our dime. So just to
Well, I
keep
mean, the
that note.
CIA is also, let me go here. CIA, they've always done a lot of shady stuff. I mean,
Yeah, we're gonna see that today. There's a
what
lot
was
of
that? What was that? The Philadelphia experiment, where they gave a lot of the black
Oh, a lot of men
protesters.
syphilis, right?
Yeah, syphilis. That was they gave black men syphilis back during Jim Crow days. They actually made a movie about that. It was called Miss Evers Boys.
Yeah, that is true. And there's also a conspiracy about the Philadelphia experiment that they said they try to make the ship not visible to radar and try to make his magnetic field smaller. That supposedly the ship disappeared and appeared in another dock, and that we had army men fused to the wall. We had casualties and people passed away and stuff like that. That's a conspiracy, though. That one has a little bit of paperwork behind it. There was a report done, but it's vague. So
well, they got another one where there's supposed to be a lot of paperwork behind it, where they bottom line, they was working with Noriega. They were actually bringing drugs into America.
Well, yeah, I got a clip on that, and we could get into that a little later.
So I mean, this again, CIA, they do things as well to. I mean, yeah, we say it's taxpayer money. As taxpayer money gets it started, I guess because they're a taxpayer funded entity. Whatever money they make, may be considered to be taxpayer money. But again, they were doing a lot of stuff to fund. They do illegal activities to fund their other activities. If that makes sense.
And that note, guys, we're gonna cut to a quick break, and we'll be back.
Feeling lucky? Join Blind United for a thrilling day at Viejas Casino and Resort. Slaw Machine. Mark your calendars for Friday, August 9th. We're rolling out from 2 locations, Montclair and Buena Park at 9 a.m. sharp, so don't be late. For just $21, you can enjoy a ride filled with fun, refreshments, and the chance to win big. Remember, space is limited, and the deadline for your payment is July 20th. All bookings are non-refundable after July 20th. Bring your poker face and your ID and get ready for a day of excitement and entertainment. No worries about the drive. We've got you covered. You can just relax there and back. Book your spot now. Contact Cheryl at 909-821-9589, see Thurston74@gmail.com, or Pedro at 323-631-2122, P. Aguilera at blindunited.org. Let's hit the jackpot together. You can sell your payments to Blind United Incorporated by using the email blindunited2022@gmail.com.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United.
So, before we heard Brittany's fantastic voice on that last commercial, you heard the one about the casino trip. please ignore the fact that it's still, again, well, we're low budget. We didn't do another commercial. So that's the old commercial, has a cutoff date of July the 20th. Well, of course, that day has gone by, and our new cutoff date is August the 6th, and that's because we've reached our fulfillment for the bus as far as seating. Again, we're still selling seats. So if you want to do that, everything else on the commercial is still correct. If you want to get on bus 1, which is leaving out of Montclair, contact Cheryl. If you want to get on bus 2, which is leaving out of Buena Park, contact Pedro. We still got seats available. And like I said, all the other information is still correct. The only thing that's different is the cutoff date. So come on, hang out with us. Let's go. As the thing said, let's hit the jackpot together. If not, we can go shopping together, one or the other. Anyway, we plan to have a nice time doing that. Come on out and hang out with us. So.
It's gonna be a great time. It's gonna be a great time, guys. And don't forget to get breakfast when y'all come out. But I have a conspiracy about breakfast. Is breakfast important, guys? Is it important? Let's take a listen.
Breakfast is not the most important meal of the day. It's magically delicious, but how about nutritious?
Marshmallowy Lucky Charms, a tasty part of this good breakfast. That's me Lucky Charms.
Magically delicious!
While there are plenty of legitimate health benefits to starting the day with a balanced breakfast, that hasn't always been the reason it was pushed so hard.
The idea of breakfast being good for health, especially weight loss, has persisted for over a century.
After meat-heavy breakfasts went on the decline due to their digestive difficulty during the Industrial Revolution, James Caleb Jackson and John Harvey Kellogg changed the game with flaked corn cereal. As Seventh-day Adventists, they believed that a bland...
Well, I hope we're not eating Brittany for breakfast, but... Am I by myself in here? What happened there? Everybody got quiet.
Yeah, that was a short one. I don't know what happened there. But yeah.
All I heard was Brittany. I didn't hear nothing about no breakfast.
What?
You played Brittany's clip again. What you
No,
hear,
I heard the breakfast clip. It was basically saying that that during the Industrial Revolution that people stopped having meat-heavy breakfasts, and then
well, why did I only hear Brittany's commercial again?
I have no idea.
I don't have no idea, Ed, but yes, they were getting bloated, eating a big meaty breakfast and going to work. Plus, they brought this out and were like, this is light on your stomach. It was not about being nutritious and breakfast being the most important meal of the day. It was more of a marketing.
Yeah, it was more of a marketing ploy. I mean, and that makes sense because a lot of the Kellogg cereals like Frosted Flakes, Lucky Charms, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, it's nothing but sugar and shit. You know, it's not healthy for you. That doesn't sound balanced.
It does not. And some of our cereal, guys, if you look it up, they're banned in some countries because of what it has. Even some of our candy, like Skittles, are banned in countries and things like that. So because of what they contain, you know, be aware of what you eat. A lot of red candy is made by the redness of, I forgot the beetle's name, but they're made out of insects, that red dye. So, hey, it's not a conspiracy.
And don't they say that, is it red dye or orange dye? It's, you know, causing a lot of kids to have autism or something. I remember seeing that somewhere. Or am I mistaken?
Red dye.
That red dye, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that beetle dye. I don't know. It's, you know.
Yeah, it's encoded like within like reddish candy. There's a lot of red candies. There's Skittles, that little red M&M. Who knows if that's what they use? I forgot the compound's name. They have a name. They're not gonna say made out of red beetles or anything like that. But something to be aware about, guys. If you want to be healthy, eat a healthy breakfast. Do not get some Kellogg's with mushrooms, with marshmallows, and even though I ain't gonna lie, I like to indulge in my Raisin Brands.
I mean, but then again, raisin bran, okay, cool. Bran is supposed to be good for you, digestive system, and raisins, they high in antioxidants and stuff like that. So, I mean, I would probably say that's one of the more healthier choices of cereal, anyway, But I remember when I was driving truck, man, I used to love, depending on where I was at and what I was going to be doing, I'd get my breakfast. And, when I was working down in the harbor, man, I couldn't wait on 10 o'clock if I was down there and the lunch truck come through, give me a big old breakfast burrito and a Donald Duck orange juice. And you know what I'm saying? And it would carry me through, the bigger part of the day. I mean, I was doing a lot of work, a lot of exercising, a lot of energy that day, in those days. But again, breakfast, I'm not going to say it's the most important meal of the day, but it does help get you through the day.
Yeah, if you have a good breakfast and that fills you up, I could get through the whole day. I could go the whole day without breakfast, and I could eat until like 2 in the afternoon.
Right. I mean, I can eat breakfast at any time. I love breakfast food.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we do it. We do it like, geez, huh? Yeah, we have breakfast in the evening.
Man, sometimes me and my wife say, you know what, we cooking breakfast for dinner tonight, man. You know what I'm saying? No problem. Bacon, eggs, and hash browns, and some English muffins or something, or maybe some pancakes, or man, just hey.
Yeah.
I mean, now that I'm blind, I love over easy eggs.
Ooh, yeah. I don't know what is it about them.
But I can't flip them like that no more without breaking them, right? So whenever every chance I get when I go out, if they still serving breakfast, I'll order breakfast. A lot of times, Now give me some breakfast. I need me some eggs. I know I want some yolk running all over my stuff,
Yeah. I get you. I love that. I love the sunny side up eggs. Sometimes I like them medium well. Sometimes I like them a little, So, man, I love that yolk taste of it. And
don't take me to Fat Burger or something like that where I can get that egg burger, a king egg burger with an egg on it. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man, now I need to go there.
Yeah, make that joker over easy, right? That way when I push down on that bun and I bust that yolk, I got yolk just run all over my burger. Oh man, that's good stuff right there, Pedro.
Yeah, breakfast is a good meal, guys. But think about it. You start off with a heavy meal. You got to go work, especially if you're doing a lot of not sitting down, but walking around, lifting up things. It's
physical work.
Yeah, physical work. Thank you, Ed. Thank you. Yeah, it could get all, you could start getting all heavy feeling. You know what I mean? And understandable. But the eggs and bacon, all that's more of a lunch type thing. You know what I mean? I think, I think in my theory, let me give you one of my theories. I believe dinner maybe should be lunch, and then a light meal for breakfast, because you gotta lay down for 8 hours and be stationary.
You mean a light?
Yeah, like a light meal.
You're talking about breakfast for dinner.
A light dinner, yeah, a light dinner. Okay, a light dinner. Because you're gonna be stationary laying down and for more than 5, 6 hours.
Nowadays, remember they call it breakfast, dinner, and supper. There was no lunch.
Give us a history lesson, Ed. Come on.
You didn't know that? I mean, that's back.
I'm first generation, Ed. Look, let me explain something, guys, before we probably cut to a commercial, before we get to the next one. I'm first generation. My mom actually came where she was living at third world. I mean, like, they only had one light bulb in the whole house, one light bulb of electricity. So, it's a big change. But I'm saying that to come to that, I don't know so much of the past traditions in the United States,
Well, I mean, like back in the day, especially, older, and I'll say, 50s, 40s, 50s, coming up in that era. Again, it wasn't lunch. It was, breakfast, dinner, and supper.
And what changed it?
I don't know. Maybe it just, instead of calling it a dinner break, they start calling it a lunch break. I don't know. When they had to start giving people a break job to eat, right?
Yeah.
Rather than call it a dinner counter, they call it a lunch counter. Where people were running to go get their lunch and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm being honest. I don't know. I mean,
you raised a question.
I was born in the 50s, but I don't know why it changed. I just remember the terminology.
Oh, okay. And also, you said when they made lunch for those workers, and it's kind of crazy to think of a time where workers did not have a lunch break.
No.
So let's remember that, guys. We don't want to roll backwards. We want to roll forward and make things better because, that's crazy. But in that, go ahead, Ed.
No, it's make America better, not make America great. Again, make America better for the future.
Exactly.
I always wonder what they mean by that. Make America great again. When was it great, and who was it great for?
And that part right there, Brittany, and when you dig into that right there, especially if you ask for, well, as an example, ask Black Americans, right? When has it ever been great for them, right? I mean, the only ethnic group that it was great for was the Caucasians, the white folks. It wasn't great on the immigrants, none of them.
Yeah.
So again, that's the whole thing, and that's why people say that MAGA is actually a racist thing.
Yeah, and then you ask them, and then you tell them, you follow it up with what decade. Some people say 1776. Some people say the 60s. Some people say the 20s. They don't even know, guys.
They don't.
But let's off of that point, we could probably jump into the next one. Y'all want to hear the next one we got?
Go for it.
Let me see.
Hopefully I hear this one.
The CIA was involved in cocaine trafficking.
Victory over drugs is our cause, a just cause. And with your help, we are going to win.
For decades, there were rumors that the CIA was responsible for turning U.S. areas and places abroad rife with illegal substances. In 1996, the press accused the agency of involvement with cocaine in Nicaragua during the Civil War. According to a report by former Inspector General of the CIA, Frederick Hitz, the agency had known that the Contras, who the CIA backed, were involved in drug smuggling to fund their campaign.
And some of the money they were making was going to support an army that the men who ran the cocaine ring worked for, called the FDN. This was an army that the CIA started in 1981 and supported.
Better known to us, most of us who remember news, the Contras.
The group had reportedly brought in cocaine from Miami to use in the Central American region. However, the agency did nothing to stop it.
As a public elected officials, all of us must be concerned that our government could have anyway been involved in drug trafficking.
When the Drug Enforcement Administration heard about the Contras smuggling drugs, the CIA worked to put them off the scent.
Wow. I mean, like I said, I heard stories how, like I said, they were working with Noriega and they were literally using military bases to fly drugs. I mean, military aircraft to fly drugs into America, land and military bases, and then had military personnel unloading the planes, putting them in the military trucks, and then delivering them to, the distribution folks.
Yeah. And there were scandals on that. There's American Made is the movie. Tom Cruise, a very good movie. Unfortunately, Beanie Siegel, the guy that actually was the pilot that the CIA hired, he ended up taking his life. but before he took his life, he left a lot of videotapes. I mean, guys, they had so much money. They were burying in holes in the backyard. They were putting it in walls. They were putting it everywhere they can. They had so much money, and the CIA was looking the other way. Some speculate that the CIA had a handle in that. The CIA told them what path to take while they flying from over there, from Nicaragua and stuff like that. They had to get those flight paths from someone in government that knew, and they would drop off these packages, and and that connects to another conspiracy about Freeway Rick and out here in Los Angeles too, and how the crack epidemic came about. But that'd be that's a longer topic right there. But even
I mean, and again, I was, I had to go here, but I was in the streets in them days.
Wow, while you walking them streets, eh?
Well, I wasn't walking them, but I was working them. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I got you. I'm messing with you.
But I mean, I've literally seen warehouses full of cocaine. It's insane sometimes. Man, it's insane. I mean, I've seen bricks of what they call fish scale, where it just, man, it's just all really, really, really shiny, and man, it sparkles.
Yes,
so
yeah.
Cocaine is so pure. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I mean, we're saying it's so pure, but I'll go here. Even back then, the purest cocaine you can get in America was only 85% pure, because cocaine in its raw form is not a powder. So you lose a percentage when it's converted into a powder.
Mm-hmm.
So you lose that first 15%, and then plus by now it being turned into a powder, now it just makes it easier for the next person to step on it and stretch it, and then and so on and so forth. So by the time it hits the street, it might be only 15% cocaine. That's the crazy part. It was 85% when it got here. By the time it hit the street, it might be 15%.
Yeah. So sometimes I have a saying. Well, not a saying, but I have something saying. They do tell us that we're bringing in tons and tons in tunnels, right? Who you think flies the airplanes and has access to the airports?
Well, I mean, but hold on, Pedro. You're talking about two different things. First, you said in tunnels.
Yeah, meaning the cartels.
Right. But again, the cartel's not flying it in. They're running it through the tunnels under the border.
And that's why I said, who you think has access to the air but the government? You're not going to get off the ground and fly into the country.
Another one now also that, so they're using these smaller subs, right?
Mm-hmm.
That literally cost $1 million, right? But they'll get these subs, they'll load them up with $200 million worth of drugs. They have the little captain or whatever, little small crew, 2-3 man crew to bring the subs over here, and then they abandon the subs. They're finding them subs all over the place. They're sacrificing $1 million subs because they're bringing in $200 million worth of drugs.
Yeah, the upside is, the profit margin is way up there.
Right. And
yeah.
And I mean, you think about it, everybody's making money in that process,
Yeah.
The drug industry it ain't just the legal drug, it's the illegal drugs as well.
Yes.
The profit margin is just outrageous. I mean, the bad thing about it is okay, FDA has got control of, the industrial drug complex, whatever they want to call it, right? Mm-hmm. Pharmaceuticals. But, on the other side of the illegal stuff, there's no FDA on that. I mean, you ain't no telling what you're putting in your body when you're messing with those illegal drugs. So,
Oh yeah. And in that note, folks, we're gonna cut to a quick break, and we will be back.
Feeling lucky? Join Blind United for a thrilling day at Viejas Casino and Resort. Slaw Machine. Mark your calendars for Friday, August 9th. We're rolling out from 2 locations, Montclair and Buena Park at 9 a.m. sharp, so don't be late. For just $21, you can enjoy a ride filled with fun, refreshments, and the chance to win big. Remember, space is limited, and the deadline for your payment is July 20th. All bookings are non-refundable after July 20th. Bring your poker face and your ID and get ready for a day of excitement and entertainment. No worries about the drive. We've got you covered. You can just relax there and back. Book your spot now. Contact Cheryl at 909-821-9589, see Thurston74@gmail.com, or Pedro at 323-631-2122, P. Aguilera at blindunited.org. Let's hit the jackpot together. You can sell your payments to Blind United Incorporated by using the email blindunited2022@gmail.com.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United.
all right. Well, again, y'all please remember that July 20th is no longer the date. Ignore that. The new date is August the 6th. So you want to come hang out with us, get at us, and info@blindunited.org, or like I said, you can just Zelle your money to Blind United 2022@gmail.com, and in the memo field, just let us know your name and what bus you want to get on, bus 1 or bus 2.
All right, yeah. So come out and hang out with us, guys, and let's keep moving. This is a scandal that happened in politics. So let's take a listen.
The Watergate scandal. Perhaps the most well-known political conspiracy of all time, the Watergate scandal was unthinkable when it occurred.
Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook.
The scandal began when Republican President Richard Nixon's administration illegally wiretapped and broke into the Democratic National Committee headquarters.
We don't know who ordered the burglary, and we don't really know what the burglars were up to that night.
Their aim was to acquire information about Nixon's opposition in the forthcoming election. The arrest of the perpetrators led to attempts by Nixon and his administration to cover up their involvement. However, mounting evidence and leaks soon exploded into a scandal that has become a byword for political disgrace, leading to Nixon's resignation.
One of the things that's so hard to recreate and understand now, looking back, is there was no sense that the president could lie to the American people.
Things have changed, Garrett.
Things have changed today.
Yep. And there it is, folks. You remember the Watergate scandal, Ed?
Yeah, I do. I'll tell you something else I remember. There was no cocaine. There was no freebasing of cocaine until Nixon went to China. Before Nixon went to China, people were snorting cocaine. When he came back from China, they started cooking it and smoking it.
Mm-hmm.
So Nixon was a bad dude.
Yeah. And, let me get this right. He had 3 terms?
No, he only did 2 terms. Well, he didn't even finish the second term because of the Watergate.
And let's think about it. They wanted to implant bugs, like if these were enemies of the state or something.
No, they had already planted the bugs, Pedro. They had recordings. He had a drawer full of tapes.
Oh wow! So he has his own. He made the government his own personal spying machine.
Yeah.
Wow. And the blowback on that. Do you remember how?
Yeah,
how
they call it the Watergate tapes.
The Watergate tapes, and look that up, folks. All these conspiracies, you can look it up and check them out. I don't like to sometimes put the word conspiracy because that really happened, and it's a
well. I mean, but see, the reason it's still called a conspiracy. So here's the difference. Let's do the definition, right? Conspiracy is when people get together and concoct a plan to do something. That's a conspiracy.
Yeah.
A conspiracy theory is when people get together and conclude a theory on what they think is happening.
Yes, and there's a conspiracy about that word also.
Okay.
Let me open up your mind a little, Ed. You know how they had people conspired. It was a conspiracy, and like the Watergate, what happened, right? Well, the government put the conspiracy theory and put it that definition, what you just said, to kind of throw off people when they say, "Yeah, it's a conspiracy." Oh yeah, it's not true. It's a conspiracy. Instead of putting the conspiracy theory together as one term, they kind of associate that word with conspiracy theory.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's a lot of people want you to think that a conspiracy is only a theory, but a conspiracy is, I mean, a conspiracy has been proven. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like
it's a conspiracy fact.
It's a conspiracy fact, not a theory. Exactly. So again, there's been a lot of conspiracies that have been proven to be factual, right? And then the other ones, they just call them a theory because they can't necessarily prove them to be factual.
Yeah. Britt, any opinions, any comments by any chance?
No, nobody's commenting today.
We're feeling lonely, guys. We're feeling lonely.
So I mean, I hate to go here, but I mean, Donald Trump conspired to, overthrow the government.
Yeah, he
okay.
did.
Donald Trump conspired to, do a lot of different things. I mean, that phone call that he made down there in Georgia, that was a conspiracy. He was trying to get all them people that was on the phone to conspire with him to find, 11,000 votes, 11,000 whatever, however many votes.
He was really specific with it too.
Yeah, he was very specific with it, He only wanted one more vote than what he was short, right? So he wanted what he had or what he was short plus one in order to claim a win down there.
Plus, he said in his own words, he said, quote, "Do whatever you need to do to find
just find me 11,000 whatever votes."
Yeah. So, and another thing that he conspired was to kill that border bill that the Democrats gave it to him in a silver platter to the Republicans, and they listened to their boss, and he conspired to get it all shut down.
I mean, even right now, they're conspiring to what? Impeach Kamala because she was supposed to have been, as they call it, the border czar. So they want to blame everything that's going on the border, but at the same time, all that would have been fixed. But Trump said don't do that. Well, I need something to run on.
Plus, the statistics just came out, new numbers, and the crime rate is lower than it has been in 10 years.
Border crossings are lower than they've been in a while.
Yeah, even lower than the 4 years Trump was in office. So take that into account.
How about this? That dude that's locked up, what is it? One of them that was, he conspired to take money for people to build a wall when he built a yacht instead of a wall.
Wow. He couldn't go work hard, and he couldn't grab himself by his bootstraps, like they say, and go work.
Right. I mean, they just hustled, the Republican Party, talking about, oh, send your money here. We're going to help Trump build a wall. And they all went and bought yachts, and they was out there partying and carrying on. And I mean, they got millions of dollars from his people.
I know, and those are hardworking people too. They're part of the country too, even if they're on the right or left, however it may be. But I know they work hard for their money, and to throw it out, and this dude just
But it
went to
ain't
buy
just
a
them.
yacht.
Most Americans, black, white, yellow, red, whatever. Most Americans work hard for their money. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's poor people in every, category.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So again, it ain't just black folks that are poor. They got, where you think the word, what they call it, poor white trash came from?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, trailer trash. Those are mostly white folks.
Yep, and I don't think you will catch a so-called billionaire, rich person be out there.
And they ain't going to do nothing to help them.
But
so I mean, again, it's that stuff. Again, you can call it conspiracy theory if you want to, but those are true facts. I mean, you just look and see.
Yes.
Travel down through the South out in the country, and you'll see most of the folks that are living in shacks they white folks. It ain't necessarily black folks.
Yeah.
It ain't what Washington or the Republican Party at large would want you to believe.
Yes. And that note, guys, have you ever spent $1,000 and something on a phone? You spend $700, $800, $1,500 on a washer, dryer, or let's say a TV. In this conspiracy on planned obsolescence.
Planned obsolescence. Out with the old, in with the new. It's long been speculated that tech companies like Apple and Samsung have purposely slowed down their existing gadgets after releasing new updates and models.
Most people think,
I got the Watergate
my phone
one
is
again.
slow, I need to go buy a new phone. But the problem doesn't lie necessarily with the phone, it's just with the battery.
And while the evidence was purely anecdotal at first, the arrival of iOS 10 in 2016 opened up the floodgates, or should we say, Batterygate. Months later, Apple admitted that the iPhone 6 and 6S struggled to adjust to the new update, causing slow phones and drained batteries.
I think it's on them to do a much better job of helping people understand what goes on with these very expensive products as they get older.
In the years since, the company has continued to face class action lawsuits and investigations related to the incident. The term planned obsolescence goes back to the 1930s, but confirmation of it in the digital
You cut off right in the middle.
Well, like I said, I was listening to the Watergate one.
Oh, wow. What I was listening to the planned obsolescence. They were talking about Apple and iOS. I feel like sometimes they do stuff like that. I'm gonna check why that.
I don't know what you're talking about because I didn't hear it. So,
well, planned obsolescence is when a company plans to make your device obsolete. There was a scandal in 2017, 16 iPhone 7. Apple said that they floored your iPhones, meaning they slowed them down because the battery couldn't handle the new update. So people was like, my phone is messed up, let me go buy a new phone. And they say that it's planned that way from Apple, Samsung, Sony, and other companies. So you will always buy a new device and they would have money coming in. And, it's been proven in court. They've been caught liable. They had to pay back. If you had owned an iPhone 7, you might have received that email that you
didn't they get a lawsuit for that, like a class action, because Apple was slowing down people's phones or making the batteries do something.
Yes. And if you got that email, you probably even got some money. I know I received that email. Another class action lawsuit that they kind of did on them was their butterfly keyboards. Okay, so mind you, a MacBook Pro could easily run you $2,500. Okay, Apple tried to design a new way of their keyboard, and it was called a butterfly keyboard. But you cannot take the little keys off the keyboard to clean under them, and then it's so tough to clean under them too. So when a little dust particle gets in there, you start getting double letters, triple letters, whatever it may be. So little by little, you use it, and it's they didn't have no fix for it. So there was a class action lawsuit. But think about this: a lot of people updated their Macs and upgraded and got a new device when they might not had to. I do workarounds. Mine it has a little problem, but I cover my keyboard because these little frail these devices are, you got to take care of them. I want them to last at least 5 years. That's what I always say. Even if you open a case with the DOR, tell them you need a device that's going to last you 5 years minimum. So I
mean, again, because I'm that older guy in the room, I'll go back to, back in the day, when people took pride in their products, right? I mean, toasters, vacuum cleaners, stuff like that. I mean, they lasted so long, you could pass it on to your family members. You know what I'm saying? Just different stuff like that. I mean, there used to be appliance repair shops, where you can go take stuff and get it fixed. All that stuff faded away. Hell, you don't even have shoe repair shops no more. You can't go find nowhere to go put a new sole or a new heel on your shoes.
Mm-hmm. And it's starting to happen. It's starting to happen to the mechanics because these new cars have certain tools that the companies have to unscrew their parts. So a regular mechanic, if he doesn't have that tool to unscrew or tighten or whatever to take off a part, he can't do his job. And the motor companies do these, the car companies do this, so you could go back and fix it with them only.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's called specialty tools and stuff like that. I mean, just the same thing with, they've taken, diagnosis to, a more digital level to where you just plug into a port underneath the dash, under the hood, whatever. And it basically analyzes what's going on in the engine. So you don't have to try to sit there and diagnose it. They tell you exactly what the problem is. And you go right straight to it. And most of the time it's just a module. I remember the first brand new car I ever bought was a damn a Plymouth Arrow when they first came out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't realize that car was made by Mitsubishi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was a partner thing with Chrysler. Right. So all of their, little small cars like that, they were actually Mitsubishis. Anyway, there was this thing that used to come on my dashboard. It was an EGR. And what the hell is EGR? And every so often it would come on and you had to take it to the dealer and get it fixed, right? Pedro, I swear it wouldn't take him but 15 minutes. But it would cost me $75. And we're talking about in the 70s.
Damn.
$75 was a lot of money in the 70s.
Yeah. It's like almost equivalent to like 200.
Plus, like I said, you had to go to the Chrysler dealer to get it fixed.
That's money coming in. That's that planned obsolescence right there.
I mean, come on. Here we go again. Corporate America, all these big multi-million-dollar bonus getting folks, whatever. They sit around the boardroom and they try to figure out where it used to be, how do we make our product better? How do we make our product last longer? Now it's, how do we get our product to not last but 6 months? A year, whatever. I mean, I talked about this the other day. We were in there talking about something. Well, maybe it was this conversation we were having. I'm not sure. I mean, I spent $3,200 on the refrigerator. I mean, it lasted me maybe 4 years. Come on, man. $3,200 and it only lasts 4 years? I mean, seriously. Right after the warranty ran out, it went away. It died.
That's why. Remember back in the days, Ed, when you get a device, if it felt cheap, you're like, I'm moving on to something that feels premium. I think we need to go back to something like that. When a device costs so much money, be like, no, 6 months, you know what? Don't buy that brand no more. I think those companies little by little are gonna start. Oh man, we need to make our things last longer. We need
I
to make
mean,
our
like,
things premium, not all cheap. You know,
right.
'cause
I mean, like vacuum cleaners and stuff. They used to be made with metal gears and all this other kind of stuff inside, right? Now they're made with plastic. It's made to wear out. It's
yeah.
made to break down. I forget I've spent like $150 or something like that. It was for, I think it was a Eureka vacuum cleaner for my wife at one point, right?
Mm-hmm.
That thing started acting stupid. It was a Hoover or Eureka, one of them. They kind of looked the same. I remember that, right? But anyway, so it kind of broke down. I took it to a vacuum cleaner repair shop. He said, "Dude, these things ain't made to be fixed. They're made to be thrown away when they break down. It's cheaper just go buy you another one. It's gonna cost me more to tear it apart and fix it."
Dang. Yeah, yeah, and it's kind of sad because if you think about it, I think about it in the sense of the single mom with like 3, 4 kids. You know what I mean? And
Corporate
having
America don't care about
yeah,
her.
they don't, and I think about them because we actually have to think like that, especially our leadership that's in Congress and in Washington, because sometimes an appliance breaks. Oh my God, for a single mom to get something back, it's gonna be tough.
I mean, it's rough out here. And again,
Also,
call that a conspiracy. I call that a true conspiracy. You can call it a theory if you want to, but
it's been proven. It's been proven in the lawsuits and all that. And to top it off,
it's just my life. In my lifetime, I've seen a lot of different things. Remember, I was around before we had cell phones and computers and
dial-up. Let's take it back that way. Dial-up, huh, Brittany?
Right, stick your finger in a hole and spin the dial. You know what I'm saying, kind of thing. So
yeah. And I have one more. For you guys before we call it a day. Let's check it out.
UFO investigations. The U.S. government may not be investigating UFOs at Area 51, but that doesn't mean that official research isn't happening somewhere.
While most of the cases were explained as either satellites, weather balloons, high-flying jets, or even meteors, still hundreds of cases remain unidentified.
Project Blue Book, which ran from 1952 to 1969, was public knowledge.
The report includes more than 12,000 sightings made by military members and civilians.
But in 2017, it was revealed that from 2007 to 2012, the U.S. government also funded an unpublicized investigation called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program to the tune of $22 million. In 2020, we learned of another UFO program, the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force. Its findings included photos and videos of UFOs that experts have struggled to explain.
This was recorded while the U.S. Navy ship observed a number of small unmanned aerial systems in the area. And importantly, the video was taken through night vision goggles with a single lens reflex camera. These remained unresolved for several years.
There you go, guys. And that the last person you heard talking was a hearing in the U.S. government. He said the ships were able to capture it in radar, night vision, and other scanners. And when he says area machinery, he's talking about UFOs. They just have different terminology. Now they're calling them UAPs, unidentified area phenomenon, or something like that. So they have different terminology, and there's been pilots that captured these on jet cameras, radar systems too. Over here down in San Diego was the most famous one. I forgot the pilot's name. He was all over the TV. He was all over podcast, and things like that. He was only able to talk about certain things. Him and his team. He was the captain of a flight crew and stuff that experienced this while they were training. But You could look into it a little more. What do you think, Ed? Before we go, let me know what you think, and also Brittany.
Well, I mean, I'm not naive enough to believe, Pedro, that in this great, big, wide, vast universe that we live in, that this is the only planet with life on it. Okay, but I mean, I don't know. I just, I just got to believe that, if they've got that type of technology where they can, fly around like that and make their way down here or whatever, I mean, what are they doing? Observing? I mean, I just think that they would make themselves be known. I mean, I don't know.
I have a theory on why they haven't made themselves be known, these aliens. Maybe we are toxic to them, if you think about it. Maybe they don't want to get the diseases that we have because maybe, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, but my problem with that one would be, Brittany, I mean, people are seeing them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, maybe.
I mean, that's just like one person.
Aircraft. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's just like one person going into the South, the Amazon jungle, right, and making contact with one of them tribes that's been living out there for thousands of years or whatever the case may be. I mean, we already know that when people from the outside, civilized, what they want to call civilized world, when they go into, those types of areas, our little, our stuff will kill them people. I mean, it's, so
exactly.
I mean, if they come in contact with us in any way, right?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. If they come in contact with us in any way, well, when they go back home, they taking what we unless they got some sort of a hell of an immune system. If they got a hell of an immune system, what are they scared of?
Well, I think it could be several. It could be several things. Okay, let's get a little bit into it. So, what are the questions you got to ask? And this is what some of the skeptics say: is when you're walking on the road and you see an anthill, do you stop and look at it all the time?
A who?
An anthill. No, you just pass it because it's an anthill. So imagine a super advanced civilization passing through space and they see the Earth. You think they might stop? That's what some say. Others say that they already made contact with our government. There's a conspiracy that they have a contract on how many people they can experiment on and abduct.
So now we're at the Men in Black thing.
Not yet, but that's what. Not yet. This is what some people allude to, and that famous. There's a famous clip about. I don't know if it was Nixon or one of the presidents having he had to go to Air Force Base, and they said that's where the meeting happened with extraterrestrials. There's another. People say that there's multiple ones. There's the grays. There's the tall-looking ones that look kind of brownish gray in a way, and things like that. So it gets deep. There's been about the Men in Black, sightings of the Men in Black and things like that. So it gets deep. But all right, let's take the alien part out of it. Okay, this is what I start doing. I take the alien part out of it, and let's say these crafts, right? They're there. These crafts are flying around. If it's not another government, who knows what it is? It might be high-tech weaponry that they're testing or what's going on. You know what I mean? Something like that. A DARPA deep project or something. But I'm just saying, let's take the aliens out of it, and let's just say this could have been another man-made craft. Let's keep it real because they're already capturing on radars. But that leads me to say, if another country or superpower had this type of technology, they would already put their thumb on top of it and say, hold up, we're the strongest now. We know how power works, and that's why I don't think that it may be a human driving these. But there is a Project Bluebeam that says that government is gonna try to play off a alien invasion, an alien attack, and if they have these type of crafts already, they can make it seem so real. And this is when it comes down to the satellites Elon Musk been putting in the sky with the Skynet. Okay, that's just to put you a little deeper in the rabbit hole if you want to go look some stuff up. I don't know what y'all want to say that, Ed, before we cut off. And Brittany,
I'm good with it. Y'all can go with it. I'm, like I said, I'm not naive enough to believe that we're the only planet with life on it. But again, I just, for whatever reason, we get into this kind of stuff, Pedro. I mean, here we go. I'll throw this one at you. How about this? Like you said, these ships are here. So they could be government ships. Might be man-made craft that the government has put together. Then why the hell is Elon and them still shooting rockets up into space when they can use that technology?
Okay, good question. Okay, here we go. There's a person that used to work in Area 51 named Bob Lazar. All right, he's a scientist. He's a scientist that he put a jet engine into a car. He was in magazines and science magazines of doing this. He was people of his top class and stuff like that. This dude ended up saying he ended up working on a project, right? And this dude doesn't get paid for this. He doesn't like to talk about it. He never liked to get an interview. But he said he came into a craft. It was a device, not a craft, a device. It was in a little tower, and it had like a circle shape, big as a basketball. Once you get to a certain length, a certain distance of it, you couldn't go forward. It was like there was a wall there, right? And they said that this device, according to him, it could be an anti-gravity device. And whatever is powering this device to do this anti-gravity effect, that power source must be really, really powerful to make this effect happen. And to if we already reverse engineer this technology, we would have had a 0 point type of energy. We wouldn't need gas. We wouldn't need oil. We wouldn't need to dig and do all this stuff. Do you think some of these people that are in power and own all this oil, all this technology for, all this let's say Edison, that we pay electricity and all that, if we get a 0 point energy, that means we're pulling energy from thin air. You think we will be allowed to keep that and not pay electricity, gas, or gasoline? You think they will maybe allow that? I don't know. We seen what the CIA can do.
On that note, I hope everybody enjoyed Conspiracy Theory Thursday. Because some of this stuff is way out there, but again, it gives you something to think about. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to necessarily go along with it, but again, just the main thing that I hope everybody gets out of the conversation today: know the difference between a conspiracy and a conspiracy theory, because they are definitely two different things. So on that note, Britt, you good?
Yeah.
All right. Pedro, my brother, we'll talk to y'all again tomorrow on I don't know, maybe Freaky Friday. I don't know.
Wow.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what we come up with tonight, and bring it to you tomorrow morning. So everybody have a great day. Don't forget to drop in at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time and learn a little bit of Spanish with Mr. Jesus Bautista. So until then, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. All right, we're out.